Hey everyone, welcome back to Love English Lab, the place where you learn to speak English naturally and confidently. I'm Alex.
And I'm Luna. If you want to keep improving your English with real, inspiring conversations, make sure to subscribe and join our growing community of learners.
Today's topic is one I really love, goals and dreams. It's something everyone has, no matter where they come from or what language they speak.
Yes, I love this topic too. Talking about goals and dreams helps you practice expressing your hopes, plans, and motivation in English. And that's such an important part of real communication.
Absolutely. When you talk about what you want to achieve, you're not just practicing vocabulary, you're also learning to express emotion and purpose.
And in English, there are so many natural ways to do that. People say things like, I'd love to, my goal is, or someday I want to. These expressions make your English sound real and alive.
Right? Because goals and dreams are not just about the future, they also tell people who you are. When you say, I dream of traveling the world, or I want to become a designer, you're sharing something personal.
Exactly. And that's why this kind of topic is perfect for building confidence in speaking. It feels meaningful, and people love to talk about their dreams.
Yes. And even if your goals change over time, it's always good to be able to describe them in English. It helps you connect with others, especially when you meet new people, or talk about your plans.
And we'll also talk about the difference between short-term goals, things you want to do soon, and long-term goals, which take more time and patience.
We'll share examples, common expressions, and simple conversation models so that you can start talking about your goals naturally without overthinking grammar.
And of course, we'll also talk about dreams, the big ideas that keep you motivated. Dreams make learning English meaningful too, because for many people, English itself is part of their dream.
That's true. Some people dream of studying abroad, traveling, or working in another country. Others dream of feeling confident when speaking English with anyone, anywhere.
Whatever your dream is, learning how to express it clearly can make it feel more real, like the first step toward making it happen.
I couldn't agree more. So, in this episode, we'll explore how to talk about your goals, describe your dreams, and share your ambitions in natural, everyday English.
And by the end, you'll have the vocabulary and confidence to talk about your future with clarity and passion.
All right, let's begin our journey into goals and dreams.
Let's do it. So, Alex, let's start with goals. Everyone talks about them, but sometimes it's not easy to describe them clearly, even in your own language, and it gets even harder in English.
That's true. Many people have goals, but when they try to talk about them, they only say something like, I want to be successful. It's a good idea, but it's too general.
Exactly. To make your English sound natural and meaningful, it helps to be more specific. Instead of just saying, I want to be successful, you can say, I want to start my own business, or I want to improve my English so I can work abroad.
Right. That sounds more personal and interesting. It also gives people something to ask about, which keeps the conversation going.
Yes. And one of the easiest ways to talk about goals in English is by using expressions like, my goal is to, or I'm planning to.
For example, my goal is to get a new job next year. Or, I'm planning to learn how to code. Both sound very natural.
Another great one is, I'm working on, it shows progress. For example, I'm working on saving money, or I'm working on becoming more confident when I speak English.
I like that one a lot because it sounds active. It shows you're doing something, not just dreaming.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes goals powerful. A goal is a dream with a plan.
Well said. And when you talk about goals, it's also nice to explain why they matter to you.
Right, you can say something like, I want to learn English because I want to travel easily. or I want to get fit because I want to feel healthier. Adding because makes your sentence complete and more emotional.
That's a great point. It shows motivation, and people love hearing that. It makes the conversation more real and inspiring.
And for learners, that's great practice, expressing not just what they want, but why.
Let's give a few examples that sound natural in conversation. I'll start. One of my goals is to become more organized.
That's a good one. You could add, because I sometimes waste time looking for things, to explain it more.
Perfect. What about you, Luna?
I'd say, my goal this year is to read more books in English. It's a small goal, but it helps me stay consistent.
I like that. Small goals are just as important. You could also say, I'm trying to read at least one English book every month. That gives it a time frame.
Yes, and time expressions like this year, next month, or in the future make your goals sound clearer.
Exactly. And if you want to sound polite or a bit formal, you can say, I would like to, for example, I would like to improve my pronunciation.
That's true. Would like to is softer and very natural in English. It's perfect for speaking with teachers, classmates, or coworkers.
There's also, I hope to. It's very common and sounds optimistic. I hope to travel to Canada one day. Or, I hope to get my dream job.
Yes, hope to is beautiful because it shows positivity, and English speakers love that tone.
Another phrase that's great for goals is, I'm aiming to, it sounds focused. For example, I'm aiming to finish my course by December.
Oh, that's a good one. It's like saying you're targeting something specific.
Exactly. So in real conversations, you can mix these expressions naturally.
Right. For example, my goal is to improve my English because I'd like to study abroad next year. That's short, clear, and natural.
Perfect example. And if someone asks, what are your goals? You can answer in the same way, just use one or two of those expressions.
And you can always ask back, what about you? That's how you make it a real conversation, not just a list.
Exactly. English is all about connection. Talking about your goals is a great way to start a deeper conversation.
And it's also a great way to practice speaking from the heart, to say what really matters to you.
Yes, and that makes it more memorable. When language connects to emotion, it sticks in your mind longer.
I totally agree. So, to sum up, when you talk about goals, try to be specific, explain why they matter, and use natural expressions like, I'm working on, I hope to, or I'm planning to.
Perfect summary. And in the next chapter, we'll move from goals to dreams, those bigger, long-term visions that inspire us to keep going.
I love that part. Let's go there next. So, Alex, in the last chapter, we talked about goals, the things we plan for and work toward. But now I want to talk about something even bigger, dreams.
Yes, dreams are different. A goal is usually something specific and measurable, but a dream is more emotional. It's that deep desire that inspires you to keep moving, even when things get hard.
Exactly. A dream feels like the reason behind your goals. For example, your goal might be to learn English, but your dream could be to live abroad, connect with people around the world, or build a new life somewhere.
I love that. Dreams give meaning to the goals we set. They're the why behind everything we do.
Right? And when people talk about their dreams in English, they often use expressions like, I dream of, I've always wanted to, or my biggest dream is.
For example, I dream of becoming a doctor. Or, I've always wanted to travel the world. They sound natural and full of emotion.
Exactly. Or my biggest dream is to help people, or my dream is to have my own art studio. These sentences tell people what really matters to you.
Yes, and they sound inspiring too. Sharing dreams in English is a great way to show passion and personality.
And even if your dream feels far away, talking about it helps keep it alive. It's like you're giving it energy by putting it into words.
That's so true. When you describe your dream, you make it real, even if it's just with a few sentences.
Let's give an example of how a natural conversation about dreams might sound. I'll start. One of my biggest dreams is to live by the ocean. I've always loved the sound of waves, and I imagine waking up every morning to see the sea.
That's beautiful. I'd probably say, my dream is to travel to as many countries as possible and learn about different cultures. I think dreams like that help you grow as a person.
I agree. And I think dreams say a lot about who we are, what makes us curious, what we value, and what we hope for.
Yes, and the way we talk about them in English can show that too. For example, you can use phrases like, someday I hope to, or in the future I'd love to.
Those are great. They sound soft and natural, like, someday I hope to write a book, or in the future I'd love to teach English abroad.
Exactly. And for something more certain, you can say, I'm determined to. For example, I'm determined to start my own business one day.
That one is really strong. It shows commitment. It means you're serious about making your dream happen.
Yes, and another nice phrase is, it's been my dream since... For example, it's been my dream since I was a child to become a pilot.
That's such a classic and emotional way to share a dream. It connects your past and future in one sentence.
Definitely. And when someone shares their dream with you, it's nice to respond with interest. You can say, that's amazing, or I hope you achieve it, or even what inspired you.
Yes, that's a great way to keep the conversation going. Talking about dreams is about connection, not just the words, but the feeling behind them.
Exactly. And I think it's important to say that dreams can change over time. What you wanted when you were 15 might not be what you want now, and that's okay.
Totally. English has some good expressions for that, too, like, I used to dream of, or my dream has changed. For example, I used to dream of being a singer, but now I want to be a teacher.
That's a very natural way to show growth, and learners can use it in all kinds of conversations.
And another good tip is to use adjectives to describe your dreams. For example, my dream is big but realistic, or it's a simple dream but it makes me happy.
Yes. Adding adjectives makes your English sound richer and more expressive.
So if someone asks, "What's your dream?" you can give a complete answer like, "My dream is to start a small bakery. It's something simple, but it's been in my heart for a long time."
That's such a great example. It's emotional, specific, and natural. Everything that makes English conversation sound real.
And remember, you don't have to wait until your dream comes true to talk about it. Sharing it is already part of the process.
That's true. Sometimes when you talk about your dream, you inspire someone else to follow theirs too.
I love that. Because language is not just for communication, it's also for connection and inspiration.
Exactly. So to summarize, when you talk about dreams in English, use expressions like I dream of, I've always wanted to, or someday I hope to. Be personal, be real, and speak from the heart.
Perfect summary. And in the next chapter, we'll talk about how to connect your goals and dreams, how to take those big ideas and turn them into small, practical steps.
That's going to be a great one. Let's continue.
So, Alex, we've talked about goals and dreams, but now comes the hardest part, how to turn those dreams into action.
Yes, that's where most people get stuck. It's easy to imagine the future, but it takes real effort and consistency to make it happen.
Exactly. I think the first step is to make your dream smaller, to break it into steps. If you say, I want to be fluent in English, that's a big dream. But if you say, I'm going to study English for 30 minutes every day, that's an action.
Right. Dreams inspire you, but actions move you forward. And when you describe actions in English, you can use phrases like, I'm working on, I've started, or I plan to.
For example, I'm working on improving my pronunciation, or I've started listening to podcasts every morning. Both sound natural and positive.
Yes, and you can also say, I plan to take an English exam next year, or I'm focusing on learning vocabulary. These expressions show real progress.
I like that. They show that you're doing something, not just talking about it.
Another good expression is step by step. It means you're moving forward slowly but surely.
Yes! You can say, I'm learning step by step, or I'm getting closer to my goal. That sounds realistic and encouraging.
Exactly. I think sometimes people give up on their dreams because they expect results too fast. But everything worth doing takes time.
So true. And in English, there's a great expression Rome wasn't built in a day. It means that success takes patience.
That's a classic. You can also say it's a work in progress to describe something you're still improving.
Like, my English is a work in progress, or my dream project is still in development. It's humble but optimistic.
Yes, and that's an important part of talking about effort, being honest about where you are, but staying positive.
I love that. Because every small step counts. For example, if your dream is to start a bakery, your first step could be learning recipes, saving money, or taking a short business course.
Exactly. And when you talk about those small steps in English, you make your conversation more real. You could say, I'm saving up for my business, or I'm practicing new recipes every weekend.
Those sound great, simple but full of meaning, and they make you sound motivated and active.
Another useful phrase is, I'm trying to. It's one of the most natural expressions in English. For example, I'm trying to be more disciplined, or I'm trying to learn new skills.
That one's perfect for everyday English. It shows effort, even if you're not there yet.
Yes, and if you want to sound confident, you can say, I'm working hard to achieve my dream. That's a powerful sentence.
Totally, it shows commitment. And that's what connects dreams with effort, that sense of dedication.
You know, sometimes people feel scared to take the first step because they think they're not ready.
Yes, I felt that too. But the truth is, you don't have to be ready, you just have to start.
Exactly. And in English, there's a great way to express that. You have to start somewhere.
That's such a good one. It means even small beginnings matter.
Right. And another great expression is one step at a time. It's a calm, realistic way to encourage yourself or someone else.
For example, I know it's hard, but I'm taking it one step at a time. That's such a positive attitude.
Totally, because action doesn't always mean doing big things. It can mean showing up every day, even when it's hard.
I love that. And in English, we often say, keep going, or don't give up. Those short phrases are simple but powerful.
Yes, they're like small reminders that progress matters more than perfection.
And I think that's true for learning English too. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to keep improving a little every day.
Exactly. That's how dreams become reality, by doing something small over and over again.
So, to sum it up, turning dreams into action means three things: breaking them into small steps, staying consistent, and believing in the process.
That's a great summary. And in our next chapter, we'll talk about how to stay motivated, how to keep going even when things get difficult or slow.
Perfect. Because every dream needs motivation to survive. Let's talk about that next. So, Alex, now that we've talked about taking action, let's talk about what comes next, staying motivated. Because starting is easy, but staying consistent is the real challenge.
You're absolutely right. It's exciting at the beginning, but after a few weeks or months, the energy starts to fade. That's when most people stop.
Yes, and I think that happens to everyone. Whether you're learning English, saving money, or trying to get fit, motivation comes and goes.
Exactly. That's why it's important to have small reminders of why you started in the first place.
Right, in English, we often say, remember your why. It means remember the reason you began your journey.
That's such a powerful phrase. Because when you connect with your purpose, it becomes easier to push through the hard days.
Totally. And another thing that helps is setting realistic goals. If your goal feels too big, you'll feel overwhelmed. But if it's small and achievable, you'll keep moving forward.
That's true. You can use the phrase one step at a time to describe that mindset. It's simple but very motivating.
For example, I'm not fluent yet, but I'm improving one step at a time. That's such a positive way to look at progress.
Yes. And speaking of progress, I think it's important to celebrate small wins. People often wait for something big, but every little step deserves recognition.
Absolutely. In English, we sometimes say, celebrate the small victories. It means don't wait until you reach the final goal to feel proud.
Exactly. You can say, I studied English 3 days in a row this week. That's a win.
I love that because every bit of effort counts, and celebrating progress keeps you motivated to continue.
Another way to stay motivated is to track your progress. You can say, I'm keeping track of my progress, or I like to see how far I've come.
That's great advice. Some people use journals or apps. Others just take notes on what they've learned. Seeing your own improvement reminds you that you're growing.
Yes, and it gives you proof that your effort is working. Even small changes matter.
And I think it's also important to talk about discipline. Sometimes people wait for motivation, but discipline is what actually gets you moving.
That's so true. Motivation is the feeling, but discipline is the action. When you say, I don't feel like studying, but I'll do it anyway, that's discipline.
Exactly. And that's how real progress happens, when you show up even when you don't feel ready.
There's a great expression in English, don't break the chain. It means keep your habit going every day, no matter how small.
That's a good one. For example, if you're learning English, you could study 10 minutes each day, just to keep the chain alive.
Right, because once you skip one day, it's easy to skip another. But if you stay consistent, you build momentum.
And momentum is powerful. It's like a snowball, it starts small but grows as it rolls forward.
I like that comparison. And another good way to stay motivated is to surround yourself with people who inspire you.
Totally. You can say, I'm inspired by people who never give up, or I like to be around people who push me to do better.
That's so true. Energy is contagious. When you're around positive people, you feel more motivated.
And if you don't have that around you, you can find it online. Watch videos, listen to podcasts, or join study groups with people who share your goals.
Yes, that's what makes learning English so global. You can find motivation anywhere.
And if you ever feel tired or discouraged, you can use simple phrases to keep yourself going, like keep trying, don't give up, or you can do this.
Those are great reminders. You can even write them somewhere you'll see them every day.
That's a great idea. I have a note on my desk that says, progress, not perfection. It reminds me that small effort is better than no effort.
That's a wonderful phrase. And I think it applies to everything, especially learning.
Yes. So if you're listening and you ever feel stuck, just remember, your dream is still there, waiting for you. You just have to keep taking those small steps.
Exactly. The journey doesn't have to be fast, it just has to continue.
So to summarize, staying motivated means remembering your why, celebrating small victories, being disciplined, and surrounding yourself with positivity.
Perfect summary. And in our final chapter, we'll talk about something just as important: how to talk about success and failure in English, and how both are part of reaching your dreams.
That's a great topic. Let's continue. So, Alex, we've talked about setting goals, following dreams, and staying motivated. But there's one more thing we need to talk about: success and failure.
Yes, because both are part of the journey. A lot of people only talk about success, but failure is just as important, maybe even more.
I agree. Failure teaches you what success never can. It gives you experience, strength, and understanding.
Exactly. And when you talk about success and failure in English, it's not just about saying I won or I lost. It's about expressing what you learned from the experience.
Right. For example, you can say, I didn't reach my goal, but I learned something valuable. Or, it didn't work out this time, but I'll try again. Those are powerful sentences.
I love that. They sound optimistic and realistic at the same time.
And English has some great expressions about this topic. One of my favorites is, every failure is a lesson.
That's a good one. Another common phrase is, you win some, you lose some. It means that life has ups and downs, and that's normal.
I like that too. It sounds calm and mature, like accepting that failure isn't the end of the story.
Exactly. You can also say, it's not the end of the world when something goes wrong. It's a natural way to comfort yourself or someone else.
Right, like, I failed my test, but it's not the end of the world. It means you still have time to improve.
That's such a healthy way to see it. And when you talk about success, it's also nice to stay humble. You can say, I'm proud of myself, or I worked hard for this.
Yes, and you can also show gratitude, like, I'm thankful for the people who helped me, or I couldn't have done it alone. That makes your English sound warm and sincere.
Definitely. And I think it's important to remember that success isn't just about big achievements. Sometimes success is just showing up, learning something new, or not giving up.
Exactly. You can say, I'm proud that I kept going, or I'm happy with my progress. Those are beautiful ways to talk about personal growth.
And for failure, there's another good phrase, I learned it the hard way. It means you made a mistake but learned something from it.
That's a good one. Like, I used to spend all my time studying grammar, and I learned the hard way that practice is more important.
Yes, that's such a natural way to express experience.
Another good expression is, I fell, but I got back up. It shows strength and resilience.
That one's powerful. It's not just about what happened, it's about your attitude after it.
Right, because success and failure are both temporary. What really matters is what you do next.
Exactly. There's also a saying, failure is the first step to success. It means that mistakes are part of the process.
I love that. It makes you see failure as something positive, a sign that you're trying.
Yes, and that's something learners can remember too. If you make mistakes while speaking English, it means you're learning.
Exactly. You can say, making mistakes helps me improve. That's such a great attitude.
And for success, I think it's important to enjoy the moment. You can say, I finally did it, or it feels great to achieve this.
Yes, and you can share how it happened, like, I studied every day for months, or I kept believing in myself. That makes your story more personal and inspiring.
That's true. And it also helps others feel motivated because they see that success takes time and effort.
Exactly. And if someone tells you about their success, you can respond naturally with phrases like, congratulations, that's amazing, or you deserve it.
And if they talk about failure, you can say, don't worry, you'll do better next time, or I believe in you. Simple phrases, but full of kindness.
That's what I love about English. There's always a way to express support and encouragement.
Yes. And in the end, both success and failure are just steps in the same direction, toward growth.
So true. And that's why it's important to talk about both, to share your story honestly, not just the perfect parts.
Exactly. Because real communication isn't about sounding perfect, it's about being real.
I couldn't agree more. So, to sum up, success feels good, failure feels hard, but both teach you something important.
And if you can talk about them in English, clearly, confidently, and with emotion, that's already a kind of success, too.
Beautifully said. In our final reflection, we'll talk about what all of this really means, how goals and dreams shape not only your English, but your entire life.
That's going to be the perfect ending. Let's do it.
You know, Alex, after talking about goals, dreams, and all the steps in between, I feel like the most important lesson is that success isn't just about reaching something. It's about becoming someone through the process.
I love that. Because every dream changes you a little. Every small goal you complete teaches you patience, effort, and self-belief.
Yes. Sometimes we focus so much on the destination that we forget to enjoy the journey. But in the end, the journey is where we grow.
Exactly. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. You just need to keep moving, learning, and adjusting along the way.
And that's something English learners understand very well. Learning a language is full of small victories, moments of doubt, and lots of practice. But it's also a journey that never really ends.
True. Every new word, every mistake, every time you speak with confidence, it's all part of your growth.
And when you talk about your goals and dreams in English, you're not just practicing words. You're expressing who you are, what you love, and what you believe in.
I think that's what makes these conversations so special. They remind you that English isn't just a subject, it's a bridge. It connects your ideas, your hopes, and your future.
That's beautifully said. And even if your dream feels far away, remember, every small step takes you closer. Every sentence you speak brings your dream to life.
Exactly. Because confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from trying, failing, and trying again.
Yes. And when things get hard, remember what we said earlier. Remember your why. Remind yourself why you started, and keep going.
Because it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Progress happens quietly, one small effort at a time.
I love that. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you're setting goals, chasing dreams, or finding your motivation again, keep believing in yourself.
Because every dream starts small, and the moment you decide to take action, you're already on your way.
That's true for English, and it's true for life.
So keep learning, keep growing, and don't be afraid to dream big.
You never know what can happen when you keep going. One day you'll look back and realize how far you've come.
And that's the real success, not just reaching your dream, but becoming the kind of person who never gives up on it.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining us today and for sharing your time and energy with us.
We hope this conversation inspires you to talk about your own goals and dreams in English and in life.
Keep practicing, keep believing, and keep shining.
You've got this.